My mama always said, pretty is as pretty does. Is that true with these speakers? Stay tuned to find out. Hello YouTube, Chris the Frugal Audiophile here. Just kind of film a quick discussion and review of these Revel speakers here. And these are the Revel Concerto M8. These are the original Concerto series. They're not the Concerto 2. And so I have 3 of them here. And you may not recognize this room or this system, and that is because I am at my sister's house, and this is her 5.1 surround sound system, and I'm going to film a system tour of this, so stay tuned for that. I don't know if I'll post that first or this review, but either way, you'll be able to see this whole system and what we have going on here. But these Revel speakers, I just added, it was in January because I got them for her birthday, and her birthday is in January. And so just got them set up, sometime in January. Before these speakers, we had the Dayton Audio B652 Air series, and I had the C452, and I had then the B652s here, and then in the rear I had the B452s, all Air speakers, and they worked great. They sounded pretty good, and especially given their cost. But my sister decided that she wanted white speakers, and you would think that finding an inexpensive but good white speaker that will work in this situation here would be easy. One of the challenges we have is that, if you can see here, this ledge is pretty narrow. I will put my hand up here and you can kind of see about, I think I measured it something like just over 4 inches. That sounds like a reasonable depth for a lot of speakers, but really it's harder to find than you might think, especially with the terminals sticking out the back there and the wire. It takes up quite a bit of space on any given speaker. And I was looking at like the Yamaha or HSC 810, I believe it's called. I can't remember right offhand, but anyway, I was looking at those Yamaha speakers, and they were what we were looking for in a good price, but they were just too wide. I think they were more like 6 inches, especially the center channel speaker. It was really fat, and so it would not fit up here. Plus, they have gray grills, so they wouldn't be, completely white. And so I was looking at those Yamaha speakers, and the center channel was like way too wide. It was even wider than the bookshelves that would go up here. And so those would not work. And there are a few other options, but many of them were either more expensive or not as good of a speaker. And so I didn't want to cheap out too much. And I listened to the AV Rant podcast, which I highly recommend. Tom and Rob on that podcast, they know their stuff. And so they suggested, actually, I believe Rob did, he suggested these Revel speakers. And I got these at Crutchfield on sale for $100 each. And I purchased 3 of them. Now, these are all 3 the same speaker. This is not actually a center channel speaker right there. It's just one of these laid on its side because there was no matching center to be found. There may have been one at one point, but it was not available at this time. And so I just took one and laid it that way. That's probably one of the main downsides to these speakers is there's no matching center available. So anyway, picked these up, got them set up, installed them, and I am really impressed. At $100 each, given their size and cost, they are really great speakers. They are beautiful looking speakers. Let me get in a little closer shot there. This grill, it's not removable, but it's a white fabric grill. So they got a little bit of a rake to them. They rake back just a slight amount there, just a few degrees. You see they are rounded off in the back there. They kind of remind me of like 1990s computer speakers, but they're pretty nonetheless. They do make these in black, but of course we wanted the white. And you see the center there, and it works, but it does, you can kind of see the rake there. It does look a little bit strange, but yeah. And she's got some other nice pretties up here, but yeah, that's these speakers. Sorry for my shaky camera work. I forgot I brought my gimbal, but it wasn't charged, so I forgot to charge it. But anyway, they're a nice looking speaker. I believe they are 20 to 125 watts, and they go down to 4 ohms. So they're not real challenging to drive. I am driving them off a Denon, I believe it's an S530 W. I think W stands, I don't know, is it W? Yeah, I think it's W because it doesn't have HEOS, but it has Wi-Fi built into it. So it's not an amazing receiver, but it's a nice receiver. It does the job. And so that's kind of what I'm powering them off of. And yes, these speakers work great in here. They're just what you're looking for. They're nice and compact. They're white. They fit on this mantle. They sound good. Now, do they sound as good as my Hyperion speakers or something more expensive? Certainly not. They've been around for a while, and I think they originally cost like $300. So $100 is really a steal for these, but they're not the epitome of sound quality and clarity, but they're really good. They do sound better than those Dayton speakers, and they look a lot better too. My main issues with them is, first of all, there's not a matching center, at least not anymore. They have that little bit of rake on them, so that's kind of annoying, but you know, it makes them look better. And then these grills are not removable. That's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. And they don't sound the biggest. They do sound bigger than their size. You know, I hear sounds coming, you know, from over here and around, but they're not the biggest sounding speaker because they're not the biggest speaker. So you just kind of expect that. They have dual 3-inch ceramic woofers in them and a ceramic dome tweeter. So, you know, you've got just under 6 inches of woofer space plus a tweeter. It's not the biggest speaker in the world, but in this room, which is not a huge room, I'd say it's probably like 15 by 12, something like that. But in this room, it works out just fine. And, you know, for my sister and my niece, where they're not super concerned with the epitome of sound quality, it's fine for them. I'm very happy with them. I think that they were the right purchase, and they fit our needs quite nicely. In the future, could something better come out? Well, certainly. But overall, they've worked great for us. And so for what they are, given their price and size, I am going to give these speakers a frugality grade of a solid B+. Yep, solid B+ for these guys. So I highly recommend them if that's what you're looking for. I checked on Crutchfield. They are still available. They are available at $125 a piece, so a little more than I paid for them, but that's just kind of the way stuff has gone these days. Prices are up a bit, and so they're not the $99, but that's still a pretty good value for them if that's what you're looking for, something like this. They also do include a mount so that you can mount them on the wall. It's just a little piece that they slide onto on the bottom of them, and so you can mount them on the wall. You want to put a couple of these next to a flat panel on a white wall. I think they would just disappear. I recommend them for like a living room or family room setup where aesthetics matter more than having the epitome of sound quality and a huge sound stage with ultimate performance. That's not quite what you need. If you want something a little more modest, you want something that's nice looking, then pick these up. So I thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please check out my Patreon and buy me a cup of coffee. And remember, frugal doesn't necessarily mean cheap.